What if I told you one of the most powerful life lessons today did not come from a book, did not come from a motivational speaker, but from an 11-year-old who left his screen behind and climbed a mountain in Scotland? We are raising a generation that can unlock phones faster than they can understand themselves. But what happens when you take all the screens away? No Wi-Fi, no games, no distractions. Just cold rivers, steep mountains, and silence. Today's guest recently returned from a residential adventure trip to Blairvadach in Scotland, a place where children step out of their comfort zones and into real-world challenges. For many children, being away from home for the first time can feel exciting, but also a little scary. And what makes this story even more meaningful is that our guest belongs to the digital generation, a world of screens, games, and constant connection. But this trip was the complete opposite of that world. An 11-year-old boy stood at the base of a mountain, cold, nervous, and far away from home. No screens, no comfort zone, no escape. Just one question in his mind. Can I actually do this? And I think this is a story many parents and even adults need to hear. Before we begin, there is a tradition here. Every companion at Reflections brings a persona, a name that reflects who they are. And today's guest has one that says a lot about his world. Let's hear it.
My name on the podcast is Digi Dude.
Digi Dude, that sounds like a superhero from the digital world. But I think everyone listening will want to know, how did you come up with Digi Dude?
I chose the name because I really like technology and digital things. I spend a lot of time exploring tech and playing games.
That's true. You definitely belong to the digital generation. But we also know something important. Playing games is just one phase of life, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So moving forward, tell us, before you went to your trip, how were you feeling, Digi Dude? Were you excited, nervous, or thinking, why did my parents sign me up for this?
Today I'm going to talk about my experience on the residential trip to Blairvadach in Scotland. It was a big moment for me because it was one of the first times I was away from home for a few days, and I didn't fully know what to expect. I went in feeling a mix of excitement and nerves, but I came back with new skills, new memories, and a better understanding of myself.
Being away from home can be tough. Did you miss home? And for 5 days?
Yeah, especially at night. I couldn't sleep properly and it felt strange without my usual things. And I didn't have anything to play with. No games, no screens, nothing. So I just lay there for a while, and then I started playing with the wheels of my trolley bag. It sounds funny, but I just kept spinning them until I got tired. I didn't even realize it, but that was the first time I created something out of boredom, instead of consuming something.
That says something important. Boredom is not a problem to fix. When the mind is not being constantly pulled by screens, notifications, and noise, it starts to breathe again. Thoughts stretch out. Ideas start to connect in unexpected ways. This is where creativity quietly forms. Not under pressure, but in pause. Boredom pushes the brain into what researchers often call default mode. In this state, the mind stops focusing on the outside world and turns inward. This is the same mental space for creative problem solving. Some psychologists even call it incubation time, a phase where the brain continues working on ideas in the background, even when you're not consciously thinking about them. So what feels like doing nothing is actually the brain doing some of its most important work. It's sorting, connecting, and building new patterns in the background. So boredom is not emptiness. Maybe it's just creativity waiting for attention. So tell us, Digi Dude, beyond creating games out of boredom, What were some of the first experiences that really stood out for you?
One of the main things I learned there was independence. At home, you didn't really notice how much you rely on your family for small things, but on the residential, you had to do all of that yourself. I had to organize my clothes, make sure I was ready for activities, and take responsibility for myself. Basically, I had to act like an adult, even though I still didn't know how to fold a fitted sheet.
To be honest, many adults still don't know how to fold a fitted sheet. So Digi Dude, don't worry, you're just doing fine. Okay, now just tell us about teamwork. Did the activities make you work together with others?
Yes, almost every activity involved with working with other people, helping someone climb, encouraging each other, or communicating properly. You realize quickly that you can't do everything alone, and supporting others makes the whole experience better. I also learned resilience. There were some moments where I felt tired, cold, or unsure, but I kept going. Sometimes I kept going because I didn't want to be the person who gave up first.
So what was the toughest activity you did?
Climbing the mountain was one of the toughest things I've done. It wasn't just physically tiring, it also tested my mindset. There were points where I wanted to stop, but I pushed through. I told myself, if I stop now, I'll never hear the end of it from my friends. And honestly, that motivation worked.
That was really cool. I'm really proud of you for hiking that mountain. And you've walked for almost how many hours?
Like 6 hours?
Yes, continuously walking for 6 hours. And you were in a group of 6 boys?
No, 3 boys, 3 girls.
Okay. It was a good experience with your team.
Yeah.
Okay, now explain something to the audience. What exactly is gorge walking?
If you don't know what a gorge is, it's basically a river running between 2 steep cliffs. You have to climb through water, over rocks, and sometimes even up small waterfalls. It was freezing, slippery, and a bit scary at first. At one point, I thought if I fall in, at least the water's so cold I won't feel embarrassed. But once I got into it, it became one of the most exciting parts of the trip. Another challenge was the massive pole. I'm not the biggest fan of heights, but even looking up at it made me rethink my life choices. But I decided to go for it anyway. Step by step, I climbed higher, even though my legs were shaking like I just had 10 cups of coffee.
Coffee? Have you ever tried coffee?
No, of course not. Like, when you have coffee, there's caffeine in it, which makes you hyperactive.
Ah, got it. That's just a simile.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
So anyway, reaching the top felt amazing. Not just because I made it, but because I proved to myself that I could face one of my fears.
It's interesting. Digi Dude, every challenge you're describing is just not physical. It is mental too. And certainly, this type of growth you don't get from comfort. You have really challenged yourself. I'm really proud of you, and you've been so brave. Okay, now let's talk some fun stuff and share some funny moments from your trip.
One of the funniest moments was the nightline. We had to follow a rope through obstacles while blindfolded. It was meant to be a team building experience, but honestly it felt more like a comedy show. At one point I got completely drenched along with my whole group. I still don't know if that was a part of the plan or if we just took a very wrong turn, but we were all laughing so much that it didn't even matter.
Were you cold at night with all the water?
Yes. It was freezing during the nightline because it was also night, but we were getting drenched with cold water.
Okay, so I've heard one more thing, that something special really happened there. You learned something new.
Yes, one of the biggest highlights was learning how to ride a bike. Before this trip, I didn't know how to cycle at all, but at Blairvadach, I finally learned. It took patience and a few wobbles, and maybe 1 or 2 almost crashes, but when I finally managed to ride on my own, it felt amazing. Another highlight was learning how to light a fire. I was the first person in my activity group to get the fire going. For a moment, I felt like a survival expert, even though 5 minutes later I couldn't open a packet of biscuits.
Seriously?
Well,
You were not able to open a packet of biscuits?
no, that's
It's a joke. Okay, your jokes confuse me. So now you carry on.
I also learned how to play pool. At first I was terrible, but after practice I started winning games. Then came table football, where I completely smashed my friends. They started saying the table was broken, but it wasn't. They just couldn't handle my table football greatness. Then there was table tennis, which ended with some of my friends rage quitting, and finally air hockey. For some reason, I suddenly became an air hockey professional. I was just in my air hockey prime.
You also experienced something really interesting about responsibility. I heard that you were actually given scores for keeping your room clean and organized. How did that work, and what kind of score did you and your team get?
Yeah, that was part of it. We knew from the beginning that we were going to be scored on how clean and organized our dorm was, so we tried to stay on top of it. I actually learned from my elder sister how to make a proper bed, so that really helped me during the trip. At home, I didn't think much about it, but there I realized it matters. Now sometimes at home, she even pays me in chocolates to make her bed for her. I guess I turned it into a skill.
A skill that makes you earn chocolates.
Yes.
Okay.
We had to keep everything clean and organized as a team, and if one person didn't do their part, the whole team's score would go down. So we reminded each other and worked together to keep things tidy. My scores were, on the first morning, I got a 9. On the second morning, I got a 9. The third morning, a 10. And on the last morning, a 10 as well. So my scores were pretty good. But I know we could have done better in the first two.
That's excellent, but you did so well. And I'm so proud of you for being so responsible. That actually is really interesting because it shows something really important. Even simple things like keeping your space clean teach responsibility, teamwork, and discipline. And those are skills that stay with you far beyond the trip. And I hope you will continue keeping your room clean and tidy and everything in place. Do you think that trip was like a boot camp?
Yeah, it did feel like a mini adventure boot camp. We had to wake up early, stay active all day, and push ourselves through different challenges. It wasn't always easy, but that's what made it fun. And by the end of it, I felt stronger, more confident, and proud of what I had done. I think I discovered that I can actually do more than I thought, like climbing, working with others, and even just dealing with things on my own. And I also realized that I don't always need a screen to have fun. Being outside and doing activities, and even just talking and laughing with people felt better in a different way. And when you're not on your screens all the time, you start thinking more and noticing more.
That's a powerful realization. Screens entertain us, but real life shapes us. Listening to your story, Digi Dude, reminds me of something important. We are raising a generation surrounded by screens, and yes, they are smart, they are fast, they adapt quickly, but intelligence alone is not enough, because no matter how advanced technology becomes, we cannot replace human connection, we cannot replace real experiences. Albert Einstein once said, "Technology has exceeded our humanity," and today that feels more true than ever. We are working remotely, learning virtually, living digitally, and the future may become even more mechanical. But here's the real question. In a world becoming more machine-like, why do digital age kids need real-world adventures? Because that's how they learn to feel, adapt, and grow beyond the screen. Growing beyond the screen means stepping into experiences that cannot be controlled, paused, or skipped. In the real world, things move at their own pace. not faster because we want them to be. Weather changes slowly, journeys take time, and problems do not come with instant answers. And that's where something important happens. Kids learn to slow down. Not everything is instant. Not every moment is entertainment. Sometimes you wait. Sometimes you watch. Sometimes you simply be. In that space, the mind begins to settle instead of constantly reacting. Thoughts become clearer. Emotions become easier to understand. Slowing down also brings awareness of surroundings, of feelings, of people. It teaches patience, presence, and resilience in a way no screen ever can. So, real world adventure is not just about excitement, it's about learning to slow down so life can actually be felt, not just watched. Carl Jung believed that growth comes from facing real experiences, not escaping them. Because life is not meant to be watched, it is meant to be experienced. And maybe that's what this story shows us. Confidence does not come from comfort, it comes from doing what feels different. Independence does not come from being guided, it comes from figuring things out on your own. Creativity does not come from constant entertainment. It begins the moment boredom is allowed to exist. We do not lose childhood to screens, we slowly trade experience for convenience. An 11-year-old stepped away from everything familiar, faced discomfort, and discovered what he's capable of. And that's growth. Digi Dude, thank you for that reminder. And to everyone listening, maybe it's time to step away from the screen and set back into the real world. And my gentle listeners, before we end, I want to leave you with one question. When was the last time you spent a full day with your child without screens? Until next time, stay curious.